Russia has issued a direct and unambiguous warning to France following intelligence reports suggesting that French military personnel may be preparing for deployment to Ukraine. According to the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, up to 2,000 troops from the French Foreign Legions are undergoing training in Poland near the Ukrainian border, with the intent to enter the conflict zone in a combat capacity. While the French government has neither confirmed nor denied these claims, Russian Senator Alexander Voloshin responded with a stark declaration. Any French units operating on Ukrainian soil would be considered legitimate and priority targets by the Russian armed force. Voloshin accused French President Emmanuel Macron of using the war as a political tool to revive his flagging domestic approval ratings, warning that Paris would bear full responsibility for any resulting escalation. The SVR's report, though lacking independently verifiable evidence, aligns with Moscow's broader strategy of deterring deeper Western military involvement by framing it as direct participation in hostilities. This rhetorical shift marks a significant hardening of Russia's stance, moving beyond diplomatic protests to explicit threats of kinetic action against NATO member states whose personnel might cross into Ukrainian territories. Simultaneously, tensions have surged in the Caribbean as the United States intensifies its pressure on Venezuela, prompting a sharp response from both Caracas and Moscow. A recent investigative report revealed that during the final month of the Biden administration, a U.S. federal agent attempted to recruit Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's chief pilot in a covert operation aimed at diverting the leader's aircraft so that American forces could apprehend him. The meeting, held in the Dominican Republic, reportedly offered the pilot millions of dollars in exchange for cooperations, though no action was taken. While the Trump administration has not endorsed this specific operation, it has significantly escalated military activities in the region. The deployment of the USS Gerald R Ford carrier strike group to the Caribbean, coupled with recent U.S. airstrikes on vessels described as narco-boats, which resulted in 14 deaths, has been condemned by Venezuela as an act of imperialist aggression designed to justify regime change. President Donald Trump has framed these actions as part of a broader campaign against drug trafficking, but Caracas and its allies view them as pretexts for intervention. Russia has moved swiftly to reinforce its strategic partnership with Venezuela in response. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov emphasized that Venezuela is a sovereign nation and insisted that all actions involving it must comply with international law. Days before the U.S. naval deployment, President Vladimir Putin ratified a new strategic cooperation treaty with Venezuela, deepening military, economic, and technological ties between the two nations. During a state visit, Maduro praised Russia as a power reborn from the ashes, signaling a mutual alignment against perceived U.S. hegemony. The treaty is widely interpreted as a countermeasure to American influence in Latin America and includes provisions for defense collaborations and intelligence sharing, further complicating regional dynamics. Venezuela's National Assembly has declared Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamala Persad Bisesar's persona non grata, accusing her of granting the CIA and U.S. military access to bases on her nation's territory. Though Ports of Spain has denied these allegations, the accusation reflects Caracas' growing paranoia and Moscow's effort to frame the Western Hemisphere as a new Cold War battleground. These developments illustrate how the Ukraine conflict is no longer confined to Eastern Europe, but has catalyzed a global realignment of alliance and rivalry. Russia's warning to France underscores its determination to prevent NATO from crossing what it's considered a red line, direct combat involvement, while its deepening ties with Venezuela demonstrates a deliberate strategy to challenge U.S. dominance in its traditional sphere of influence. For the Trump administration, the Venezuela situation presents a complex dilemma, balancing a hardline anti-narcotic and anti-authoritarian stance with the risk of provoking a wider competition involving Russian-backed force. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has reaffirmed Washington's commitment to regional security, but stopped short of confirming regime change objective. Meanwhile, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has cautioned that Moscow is actively seeking to exploit U.S. actions in Latin America to portray America as an aggressor on the global stage. As these parallel crises unfold from the Donbas to the Caribbean, the world appears to be entering a multipolar phases of strategic competition, where localized conflicts increasingly serve as proxies for greater power rivalries, and where the lines between deterrence, diplomacy, and direct confrontation continues to blur. If you have made it this far, congratulations, you have unlocked the truth. I want to ask you a quick question though. With Russia threatening NATO members like France and deepening military ties with Venezuela while the US deploys carrier groups and plots regime change, are we entering a new era of global proxy wars? Or is direct great power conflict inevitable? And why? Join the debate. We want to hear your insightful opinions on where this is all heading in our community. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.